friends, welcome to LifeStream Live with Angie. Today we are here with Jenny Hamilton, who is the President and CEO of LifeStream Services, and she is here to help us kick off the Older Americans Month. So Jenny, thank you for joining me. I know you're a very busy lady. You have a lot on your plate, but it's very important though for us to talk about the Older Americans Month. So thank you again for joining me.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, sure. So let's start off though with the Older Americans Act and how it started, and we'll carry on with the conversation that way.
Okay. The Older Americans Act was signed into law by President Johnson in July of 1965. So I always tell people, I've been with LifeStream over 20 years, and I always tell people back in 1965, they defined an older American as age 60 and over. I think we'd all agree a 60-year-old 1965 is not a 60-year-old in 2021.
No.
But that's why a lot of these programs and services that we do, if people are curious, the Older Americans Act defines that as age 60 and over.
Correct.
And there are various parts to the act that we can get into. And in general, it provides different programs and services. And it was signed in 1965, and area agencies really got established, especially in Indiana, in the mid-70s.
Okay.
It was March of 1976. And the area agencies are established to carry out the mission of the Older Americans Act.
Mm-hmm.
In Indiana, we're designated into planning and service areas, and there are 16 planning and service areas. LifeStream serves 2 of them, and we carry out the mission that was set forth in the Older Americans Act.
Okay. All right. Great history. Yeah. So as far as with the Older Americans Act and everything, and then flowing into LifeStream or the area agencies and LifeStream Services, you said as far as the area agencies, we started in Indiana as far as what date was that?
Around the mid-70s. I think most of us were 75, 76, somewhere in there. So
Exactly. Yes. Because in 2020, we celebrated our 45th anniversary, which was very exciting for LifeStream Services. But as far as LifeStream though, let's go into, some chat though about, the services though that we offer, because LifeStream Services does cover 12 counties. And obviously all of these counties do look different. Not all of the services are the same in every county. So that's why it's always important though for us to, contact our office to see what is offered in their areas and check out our, our Facebook and our webpage and all that. But yeah, let's talk about LifeStream Services and everything though that we have to offer.
Sure. I think one of the first things people tend to think of, or that you hear about with the Older Americans Act, is the nutrition program. And I know that's been super important in the last year during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
The Older Americans Act is where we get the basis for our 2 main nutrition programs. So we have our congregate meal sites, where the idea is people to come out, to get to talk to other people and not kind of be stuck at home isolated. So the way the Older Americans Act is set up, the goal is to get people out to the centers, to the sites, to come eat a meal and get that camaraderie or that socialization. Then if people cannot get to a meal site, then we look at home delivered meals for those folks who are homebound. So that's really kind of where the start of the Older Americans Act comes into play with those nutrition programs. And I know on our website, we have a list of all the different congregate sites. And then the home delivered meals, I mentioned earlier, age 16 over is the target, but we have some other programs that have come up since the mid-70s that help for some meals for individuals under 60 who may be homebound also. So meals is probably the biggest one people think about.
Sure.
Another area that's kind of a very broad area of the Older Americans Act is it talks about supportive services. And for that, for the Older Americans Act, there's a few main categories of supportive services that you'll see LifeStream do. One of them has to do with the in-home services portion. So supportive services includes the services we arrange in the home, such as homemaker or an aide to come in and help with a bath. So the Older Americans Act pays for some of those services we do. And then over the years, we've added other funding sources that pay for a lot of additional services and individuals, again, under the age of 60. But that's where that kind of the core beginning of that comes from, as part of the Older Americans Act that we use that for.
Sure.
Another supportive services supportive service that's defined by the Older Americans Act is our Information and Assistance Office. So we have 5 ladies that answer our phones, and they can provide a variety of information, assistance, resources for any kind of senior or what we usually call physically disabled. So like a medical related disability. We have all kinds of information on that and services. And then we also have some information. Maybe there's a senior out there who's kind of isolated and feeling kind of lonely. And it's more of kind of that, what we call mental health type of issue. We know how to get those individuals connected with people who can help them also. So I'd say our information assistance program is one of the big programs that came from the Older Americans Act also. And these are programs that you'll see universally across the country with all the agencies on aging. And then another big one for us that falls under supportive services is transportation.
Right.
So as you mentioned, all counties are different. I can say kind of the blanket statement that in all 12 of our counties, seniors have access to transportation. If you're sitting in one of our 12 counties and don't know how that's possible, call us or check our website. There is transportation available. And we have some of the counties where it's age 60 and over. And that's because the main funder, the only funder is the Older Americans Act. So transportation is a big supportive services. The supportive service we do out in the community that kind of has a little bit of its roots in the Older Americans Act. So those are some of the main ones. And we can go into others if you want, but
sure. Well, and it's important though for individuals to know though that when they are calling in, they're initially calling into our direct line. They're talking with our INAs, and that's where it all begins in order for an individual to find out that information, those resources, and to get the assistance that they need. Because those INAs, they will go through, all the questions, and identify what that individual is needing and get them though the assistance though that is best to their ability, which is very important. But the goal though for these programs throughout LifeStream Services is to help individuals remain independent, have a great quality of life, and just a well-being overall.
Yeah, and I think I was just thinking as I was talking about the programs, I think one of the misconceptions is that people only should call us when they need in-home services or they need certain things. And that's why that information assistance, we have a broad variety of information there. And one of the things I didn't mention a second ago is some of our more community focused programs. And we've been working on building those up. So when I think of things like our wellness programs to stay healthy, we tend to get phone calls when people no longer can do things or need help or can no longer take care of mom and those caregivers. One thing that would be good to convey to folks is to call us sooner rather than later.
That's right.
If it's as simple as getting involved and coming to one of our evidence-based wellness classes or just whatever that is, it's kind of, I believe in use it or lose it type of thing.
Yes.
Get involved in the class, you keep your mobility, your balance, you don't fall. And the sooner we interact with people, the more we can help with some of that preventative side. And I think as things go, and as you hear more about long-term care and things like that, the more we can kind of on that front end, get involved with people. And I don't think people think about that and think of us as a resource for some of that education and the wellness classes and some of those type of things. So.
Exactly. No, very well said. Yeah, because it is important, to get ahead of the game and because and many individuals, think though that it is just for the older adults, but as we age, and we all are aging, it is very important though to try to, stay ahead of the game and stay active as much as possible and, and gain that strength and that knowledge though through, offer or assistance that is offered to individuals. One of the things though that also came to mind though is, we're always coming up with different projects to try to, better serve the community, like the PASTA program and the caregiver, powerful tools, caregiver program and different things like that to provide support for individuals, the dementia friends, different things like that as well. And that is something though that I speak about quite frequently though, is you never know what LifeStream Services is going to be, implementing next, because we're all about trying to take care of everyone in the community and best serve them. So.
And I think that's one thing, probably one of the most underknown probably doesn't make sense, but least known, one of the least known things about LifeStream and other area agencies, I think, is our role in terms of planning and advocacy.
Yes.
I know May is Older Americans Month, and one of our tasks is to do something called an area plan, which we get federal dollars, and then we look at what are the needs in the community.
Yeah.
And we look at community needs assessments, we look at the community needs assessment hospitals do, we look for information. But as we kick off Older Americans Month, I will put the plug out there for anyone who is interested and wants to give input on what those programs are. We would love to have that. So we'll have information coming out on our website and different things. But, we can sit here and we can design programs, but if they're not what people want to do or what people need, they aren't going to be as successful. So I would encourage folks to let us know what the needs are. Let us know, hey, this senior center is a great place to do a program, or, this church or wherever it is in the community that people know and people trust.
That's right.
Along with that, another thing that people don't really probably realize is our role with advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's a state, local, federal issue related to seniors, part of our role is to advocate. So I'm on a legislative committee with our state association. We just follow the legislative session, and anything that could affect seniors or caregivers, we follow that and we pay attention to that. And our state association director testifies on that. So I think if there are folks out there who want to be involved in that, who have an interest in that and want to be part of that advocacy, we would love to hear from them also, because I think seniors a lot of times don't get as much attention as they should, because maybe they aren't as organized, or they just don't know how to do it or who to contact. And there are some great advocates out there, but there may be people sitting out there saying, I have opinions and I want to let my elected officials know, but I'm not sure how. So if you get in touch with us, that's one of our roles in our jobs, is to help advocate for seniors. So let us know if you're interested. And we're working on expanding our advocacy and grassroots advocacy efforts. So I want to put that plug out there also.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's very good. Another important role though with LifeStream Services though is, building the relationship with partnering organizations in the community. And the theme though for the Older Americans Month is communities of strength. And it's very important for us to build that reputation with, the community. What kind of insight can you give, information can you give about that, because it's very important to LifeStream Services.
Yep. I'm a big believer in you work better together versus us trying to create a program that somebody else already has or is trying to create if we pool our efforts. I think we really saw that. I've worked on that for years and we've had different partnerships. And I think this last year with the COVID pandemic really brought that to light. And I think that's one positive I think that I would say came out of it. For example, we partnered for several years with Second Harvest Food Bank. And this year with seniors and not being able to go out safely to the grocery store and to get food, we saw a lot more food need. We had 3 times the number of meal starts during 2020 that we had from 2019. And one of the things we were able to do is expand that partnership with Second Harvest to more locations. They had the commodities boxes, and part of our partnership with them was based on the fact that some seniors can't sit in your traditional tailgate lines that sometimes line up the night before. So we've worked with them for several years now to do some things targeted to seniors. We were able to take that and kind of capitalize on that through COVID and set up some special senior safety net sites to have folks come and pick up those commodity boxes as well as some of the other stuff we were offering. So I think that's an example. And then we've been able to now turn that into, it's not the same, going back to looking at the community and the resources and the needs. It doesn't look exactly the same, but we're doing a partnership with Gleaners Food Bank in the Richmond area, Wayne County area, to get food out to the individuals down there. So I think it's finding partners and finding community partners who want to work together. And during this COVID crisis, we've had a lot of people that have agreed to work with us or even reaching out to us because they knew seniors were affected, had a significant impact from COVID. So we've been able to partner, transportation's one, taking people to get vaccines.
Right.
Simple as that. Like I said, all the counties, seniors have access to transportation. And that's something we've been able to do is make sure people could get to their vaccine appointments. So I think it's really brought these things to the forefront, and it's something that we try to work to do because I do think we're better together as a community. So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Whether it is, an organization is helping us out, by help sponsoring LifeStream Services through our annual sponsorships, or, helping us out with different events such as our golf outing and so forth, or coming in and volunteering for LifeStream Services. That's a critical role for us as well. So it is true, coming together and pulling together as one is better than trying to battle the needs and everything as an individual. So very important. As we're closing, is there anything else you would like to share with us about LifeStream Services or Older Americans Month?
I think that it's so hard because we do so many different things. A lot of times people say, what does LifeStream do? And you're like, we do all kinds of things. I think the biggest thing that is nice about the month of May is to get that attention on older adults. I think, unfortunately, again, for kind of negative reasons, because of the impact of COVID on older adults, they got some attention, and I'd love to keep building on that momentum and get that attention, that funding. One of the things that going to advocacy at the state and federal level is helping us get money for services. Sometimes people just think of us as the in-home services, and then they turn around and they say, well, there's a wait list or this or that, but we're getting more to where we've got the different funding sources. Older adults are getting more attention. And I think just that this is a great opportunity with Older Americans Month to really bring that focus to the forefront. So
exactly. Yeah. And LifeStream has done a great job over the past year through the pandemic, modifying the programs in order to continue on serving the older adults and, and helping it grow, because as you mentioned, we have increased in our numbers and everything, to assure the safety and well-being of everyone, which is very important for us and the individuals in the community. So, thank you, Jenny. I do appreciate your time today. Like I mentioned, we are kicking off Older Americans Month, the month of May. And the theme is Communities of Strength, which is very important to LifeStream Services. Thank you again for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. All right, friends, thank you for joining in today. Again, we had Jenny Hamilton, the president and CEO of LifeStream Services, talking about the Older Americans Month and also about LifeStream Services. So until next time, stay safe and be well. Thank you. As LifeStream Services celebrates Older Americans Month, we challenge you to participate in our Do Something Nice Today campaign. We are looking for individuals of all ages to help us color coloring cards so that way we can distribute these to all of our home delivered participants by the end of the month. The deadline for this is May 20th. So the question is how can you get these coloring cards? One, we are offering a couple of drive-through events, which will be held at our Yorktown office at 1701 Pilgrim Boulevard. The first one will be Monday, May 10th from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. And the other is Thursday, May 13th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Again, these are at our Yorktown office. Or you can also go to our webpage, look for our Do Something Nice Today campaign, and you can find the 4 options of coloring cards there. So choose one, choose two, choose them all. The goal is so that way we can send these to all of our home delivered participants and let them know, though, that we are thinking of them, and we can also put a smile on their face. So, but remember, though, that the whole month of May is Older Americans Month, and so it doesn't stop there. Remember, though, that providing a meal to an individual, having a friendly conversation via phone or in person with someone, or maybe spending time with them out in the yard or delivering a flower to them, just to show them how much we appreciate them and they care to us. So help us in celebrating Older Americans Month by staying active with the campaign of Do Something Nice Today.